AITA for refusing to give my ex-husband's girlfriend a part of the inheritance.
I, 58F, was married to a man for 16 years and we had a son. After my son was killed by a drunk driver, we couldn't support each other. We divorced 6 years ago. I moved to a different state and we haven't spoken since then. About a month ago I was contacted by the executor of his will and informed of his death. His latest will was written about a year ago. When I went, I was informed that he left me everything, except for $10,000 that he left to his girlfriend. They were together for 2 years and lived in the same house. Now his girlfriend is demanding that I surrender all of the inheritance to her.
She says that I wasn't the one that was there for him when he was drowning in his grief. That I moved on while he was still feeling guilt over the death of our son. I have refused so far. But I still feel a bit guilty since I am planning to sell the house. Our marital house. I couldn't bear to stay in it after our son's death. So she will have to look for housing. She can't afford to. She doesn't have a job. Also, I make a good living and own a house outright. Inherited from my parents. So AITA? Edit. Since this seems like a frequent question, I offered her to stay at the house free of charge for the next 6 months before I put it on the market.
Also, I offered her choice of whatever she wants to take from my ex's personal effects and house furniture she wants to take. That and the continued use of the car.
I'm so sorry you and your ex-husband lost your son. NTA. Your husband obviously wanted you to have his inheritance. If he wanted to leave it to his GF, he would have done so when he updated his will a year ago.
NTA. The GF was given $10,000. If your ex wanted her to have more, he had every opportunity to do that. She should be ashamed of trying to guilt you. The fact that she was specifically named to get $10,000, which may be taxable. He named you, got the rest for a reason. It is not for us that try to understand his motive. I am sorry for your loss. But you owe her nothing. I am sorry for her as well. But I have little sympathy for able adults that cannot take care of themselves. She is not your job. NTA. He didn't forget her in the will. He left her the amount he wanted her to have. Don't let her guilt you. You are already being more than generous. NTA. He left her money but felt you deserved more. She had her inheritance. Don't give her a penny. He clearly had a reason to leave it to you. I am so sorry about your son 4X. He wrote it a year ago? So it's pretty new. And back then the situation was the same as now. Right? NTA. If his girlfriend is unhappy, your ex is to blame. NTA. He left that to you for the 16 years and the child you gave him. NTA. As far as I can tell, it looks like he still loved you even though your marriage faltered after your son's death. Leaving the GF $10,000 shows that it was a deliberate decision rather than an oversight. The bottom line is that he knew her better than you do, and if he wanted her to have more, he would have left her more. You can be as generous to her as you like, but don't feel like you owe her anything. P.S. Don't let her stay in the house. If you want to cover her housing for 6 months, offer to cover 6 months of rent on a studio apartment, or similar, contingent on her leaving the house in good condition. Your lawyer could help you draw up an agreement. You do not want to be in the position of being a landlord to someone whose judgment-proof in already dislikes you.
Edit typo. Hoot.
NTA. Your ex made his wishes known, despite your divorce. I am so sorry for your losses. NTA. She's out of line for demanding that money. Yes. She was there for a man in grief. But that's what you do for people you love. And you don't expect payment for it. Also, she's incredibly insensitive for the loss of your son. I am very sorry to hear that. Op. Don't feel bad about respecting the will. NTA. He made the will. It was his decision to divvy up his estate the way he did. She can be pissed about that, but he must have had a good reason for doing it that way. You are literally just following his directions. NTA. He made this will while they were together. He obviously felt that each person was given his assets as he saw fit. They were not married, which could change the situation. She's lucky to have received anything. While difficult for her, the loss. She is grown and needs to care for herself. NTA. If they've only been together for 2 years and this will is recent, I wouldn't give her any mind. Your ex seems like he knew what he was doing. I don't know too many people who would include their so in a will this early in a relationship. Nope. That money is yours. And get a lawyer to get her to stop harassing you. No one asked her to stay in that relationship. If this is how she views being with someone as being a payday, I don't like her. $10,000 is more than enough. NTA. I might have voted the other way if the will was written pre-divorce and he never got around to changing it. But this will was written only 1 year ago and a year after the GF moved in with him. He intentionally made you his primary beneficiary. If he had wanted to make his GF the primary beneficiary, he would have done so. The fact that he did bequeath her some money shows that she will get what he thought she would get. That is all that needs to be said. Honor your ex's wishes. You are generous to give her 6 months to make other living arrangements. NTA. Whatever your relationship together, your husband made his will purposefully with her in mind. She got 10 Kelvins for a reason. You got the rest for a reason. Mourn his death, but have her understand that this was his intentions and disrespecting them isn't honoring him at all. It's always shameful when people tear each other apart over a will. Especially when they go after others who they believe will give in, but somewhere among the things you'll get is the reason he did so, and that might be the only bit of him that is left alive, since all he gave her was money. He wanted that last bit with you. If you feel bad for her, offer to help her look for a job, if she needs one, or offer to pay for a moving truck out of state. NTA. Clearly your ex didn't want her to have it, as his will was updated after you had split and he had been with her for some time. Those were his last wishes and she must accept it. WTF. NTA. Those things are yours. He left them to you for a reason. It's not like he forgot about her entirely. Looks like she is after that inheritance only if she didn't even ask for a specific item that would remind her of him. NTA at all, and your ex already did leave enough to the girlfriend to start over somewhere else. All she's trying to do is create problems and drama. She knows she can't sue you. Your ex had his own plan and he knew exactly what he wanted. And he left everything to do. Don't give her anything else than what your ex already did. NTA. It really shows your intention that you're still letting her live in the house for 6 months. Letting her keep the car and anything of his belongings. He was still your husband for 16 years and he wrote that he wanted you to have everything. If his GF wasn't in the will at all because it was outdated, I might think differently. But honestly, his GF is sounding like a materialistic bee if her boyfriend just died and she's worried about his money. NTA. The inheritance was left to you. It's as simple as that.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.